Hey folks, as you know, I've been out of town on a serious business trip for the last couple of weeks, and as much as I got a lot of really good work done, I'm gonna be happy to get home and get back to normal.
Ain't shady, baby, I'm hot like the prodigal son.
Like a petalini mini mono and flowers, you're the chosen one. Oh, crap. OQH, back in the 416. I had a great time in Atlanta, but it's nice to get home and back in the swing of things. And what better way than a review of Captain America Civil War? Okay, let's start with the spoiler-free version. Oh man, so good! I'll be honest, I was in as soon as we knew Hawkeye was going to be shooting Ant-Man on an arrow. But Civil War ended up exceeding my expectations, which I think were pretty high to begin with. Civil War expects you to do surprisingly little homework going in. You'll definitely want to have watched Captain America Winter Soldier first, but that's about it. Maybe Avengers Age of Ultron so you know what the deal is with Scarlet Witch and Vision, but I honestly think that's optional. Everyone's introductions are handled really well, and even if you'll miss out on some of the references, the emotional core of the story is so strong that I think it'd be hard to get lost. So yeah, recommendation. And I'm way too excited to hold off more than that, so spoiler warning! If you haven't seen Civil War yet, like, subscribe, share, all that. Pause the video, go, see it, come back, we'll pick this up. The movie addresses my biggest issue with Civil War in the comics, in that none of our heroes become villains over the course of it. Tony's position that they need to own up to their mistakes and play ball with the world's government is understandable and probably more pragmatic. On the other hand, Steve's been given no reason to trust governing bodies like that, and he's not willing to compromise now for the promise of maybe being able to renegotiate later. I also really like that the other heroes are able to articulate why they choose one side or the other, beyond just following Team Iron Man or Team Cap. I've heard some people complain that it takes a while to work up to the big action piece of the movie, but for me that made sense. It takes more than any one thing to make these friends come to blows, and even then it's heartbreaking to watch. The politics and the interpersonal relationships are as much a part of the story as the punching, and I think they deserve all the screen time they got. Now I want to talk about the new characters. Man, can the Black Panther movie just be out now, please? Black Panther is a huge part of Civil War, and Chadwick Boseman is amazing. He's reserved, sort of contained, but he never loses this larger-than-life presence that really makes you believe he's a king. And they don't waste any exposition on an origin story. We find out exactly as much as we need to know about T'Challa, and then he's just there, being awesome. Maybe my favorite choice here was that Black Panther does not banter. Almost every other hero in the MCU is throwing out one-liners, but when Black Panther talks, you stop and you listen because it's important. And I loved his final scene in the climax of the movie. You can sum up Civil War as a bunch of people trying to do the right thing for different reasons. Cap does the right thing because it feels right. He wants to help his friends. He wants to save lives. Tony tries to do the pragmatic thing. He wants to do what's best for the most people in the long run. But T'Challa does the right thing because he's principled. He can set aside emotion, he can set aside ego, and that makes me really excited to see him in his solo movie. Of course, the other introduction was the new Spider-Man. We knew we were going to see Spider-Man, but I was surprised at how much Peter Parker we saw. Finally, a Spider-Man who actually looks like he's in high school and actually sounds like he's from Queens. There's a moment where Tony asks him why he's Spider-Man, and without saying it exactly, Peter rephrases Steve's speech from earlier in the movie. And you can see this look on Tony's face like, well, I'm gonna do this anyway. In a way, Spider-Man is the best parts of Iron Man and Captain America. He's fueled by that sense of responsibility. He built his web shooters from a box of scraps, and he just wants to stick up for the little guy. I honestly didn't think I was ever gonna be excited for a Spider-Man movie again, but here we are. Bring on Homecoming. Obviously, a lot of people are gonna compare Civil War to Batman v Superman, but I don't really want to go there. Okay, maybe a little.
It wasn't him, Tony. Hydra was controlling his mind. Don't care. He killed my mom.
Was her name Martha?
Hey, guys. It was Maria, actually, which is close to Martha.
Why do you keep saying that name?
Bruce, you're making it weird again. I have an aunt named May.
Why do you keep
Guys,
saying that
is that not what we're doing? Maybe? No?
That's it, I'm done. They're very different movies, and while I personally enjoyed Civil War a lot more, Your mileage may vary. Last thing I want to talk about is the airport fight scene. At the time, something about it struck me as familiar, and it wasn't until later that I realized it reminded me of watching like a live action version of a Justice League Unlimited episode. And I mean that as the highest possible compliment. See, even setting aside superpowers, which make choreography pretty tricky, most fight scenes are either 1v1 or one person fighting a whole bunch of people. Even Avengers and Age of Ultron kind of cheat this by having the heroes just fight wave after wave of identical minions. But that airport fight scene has a dozen named characters with different powers and different fighting styles, switching back and forth between partners, and still makes it work. Everybody involved gets multiple moments to do something cool, and it never gets confused or tough to follow. This is what I want to see from superhero fights from now on. Okay, I could keep gushing about this, but let's call it there. Little bit of bookkeeping. In the past week, I've set up a Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram for the Overqualified Henchman. You'll find the links down below, so please give me a like, follow, or share on your social media network of choice. As always, you can drop me a line below to let me know what you thought of the movie, and hey, Team Iron Man or Team Cap? Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep on henching.
You'd really move to Canada? I'm just saying, I bet they don't try to recruit people with powers into weird programs. Ooh, little buddy, no.
Till your left hand's free and your right